Hello and welcome back to our channel. We took a quick trip this weekend from Toronto to Chicago, and this was our first time in the city. We did the research of how to spend 3 days in the city so that you don't have to. We stayed at the Royal Sonesta River North Chicago, and the reason for choosing this hotel was its proximity to all of the landmarks that we wanted to visit, and also because, based on a lot of research, this is the best area for first timers to stay. I would rate this hotel probably a good 9 out of 10 because of all the services, amenities, staff, and location. This area is just north of the river within a couple blocks either side of Michigan Avenue. Most of the tourist hotels are in this area, and there's a lot of restaurants and shops around too. Plus, it's got good access to public transit. After checking in, we decided to head out and explore the area nearby. Chicago is the third largest city in the United States and is also the architectural capital of the country. Founded as a trading post in 1779, the city quickly grew into a vital transportation hub and industrial powerhouse. Jean-Baptiste Pointe-du-Sauble is credited with establishing the first permanent settlement in 1779, building a trading post at the mouth of the Chicago River. Right on the Chicago River kind of reminds me of Tower Bridge in London. It's actually pretty beautiful architecturally. Chicago is known for its architecture though.
Another interesting fact is that the shooting of Dark Knight Rises was in Chicago as well, with all the bridges which were blown up.
Apparently the bridge was made in 1928. One of the landmarks you need to see when in Chicago is the Chicago Riverwalk, of course. We're not going down there at the moment, we'll probably come back later. But it feels worth it. The Chicago Riverwalk's development was a gradual process, with its root in the 1909 plan of Chicago, but its tangible progress began in the 1970s and gained momentum in the early 2000s. It was officially dedicated as a park in 1972, and the Vacker Drive reconstruction project in 2001 marked the start of its present form. The Riverwalk is lined with restaurants, bars, pubs, theater-like seating for performances, and it's a really amazing place to have a casual stroll and observe the architecture around the city. The Riverwalk is 4 kilometers long and is also the starting point for the famous Chicago architecture cruises. This river is a marvel because the flow of water was reversed to convert the river from an unsanitary sewer to the river we know today. It's dyed green for St. Patrick's Day every year and will host an open swim this summer too. Also on the Riverwalk is the Chicago Remembers Memorial. This is dedicated to those from Illinois who served in the Vietnam War. This was constructed and installed in the November of 2005. I just love how Chicago preserves its history through its monuments and memorials. The next one depicts General George Washington and the two principal financiers of the American Revolution, Robert Morris and Hames Salomon. This is the Hill Square Monument, built in September 1971. The city is as beautiful at night as it is during the day. I'm a very strong believer of the fact that when the sun goes down, that's when the real magic begins, for most cities anyways. End your day by trying out one of Chicago's famous deep dish pizza. I did a full review in another video and I'll post a link to that in the description box below. If you have time, you can also catch a show at Chicago Theatre, which is one of the biggest theaters in the country and also very popular. excitement of a new city wakes us early in the morning, so we decided to explore the neighborhood. We even found an Ontario street here. We headed to Michigan Avenue that runs from Chicago River to the Oak Street and also is known as the Magnificent Mile, the Mag Mile, which is Chicago's largest shopping area, occupied by retail department stores, restaurants, museums, and hotels. It features some of the city's most famous and historic buildings, including the Wrigley Building, Tribune Tower, Water Tower Place, the Chicago Water Tower, the Hancock Building. Our first stop was a Starbucks Reserve Roastery. There's only six in the world, and this is the largest of them. The roasteries are described as a theme park experience, including coffee bars with tastings, cocktail bars, areas to observe the roasting and brewing processes, areas to purchase food, and local artwork throughout. This location on the Michigan Avenue is 5 floors big.
So we're on the first floor right now. This is all grab and go, but this is what you see when you enter. That's all grab and go, and of course the nature coffees and mugs. I think we came at a good time because there's not enough rush. Espresso yourself. So these are the countries, locations. Seattle, Chicago, New York, Shanghai. So we ordered the nitro almond milk mocha. Looks amazing. We'll try it in a bit. And a chocolate cornetto croissant.
This machine carrying baked goods, it moves throughout the building on the first 2 floors. So from the first it goes to the second and back to the first. There's also a wall dedicated to all the coffee beans that Starbucks serves throughout the world and location of all their roasteries. So New York City, Chicago, where we are right now, Seattle, the first Starbucks that ever opened in the world, Milan, one in Europe, of course, and there's one in Shanghai and Tokyo for the Asian market. There's also a rooftop patio on the 5th floor, but it was closed for this season, unfortunately. We were in luck, as while walking on the Magnificent Mile, we found out the first Harry Potter store in Chicago. There were huge lineups, so being a huge Harry Potter fan myself, we decided to take the chance and step in.
I was about to say.
there's a virtual queue because they have to maintain the store capacity.
When inside a Harry Potter shop, you of course gotta try butterbeer, the most famous drink of Harry Potter. And the good thing about it is that you get to keep the cup as a souvenir, which I of course did. After getting our heart full with the Harry Potter experience, our next stop was the John Hancock Building. With both the 360 Chicago tilt and view experience, there's a lot of things you can do in Chicago when it comes to sky decks. There's also the sky deck on the Willis Tower, previously known as the Sears Tower, but we decided to do the tilt because of its thrill and experience. The road up to the tilt basically gives you a good view of the city and the neighborhoods. You're not allowed to take videos and photos inside the tilt, and therefore we don't have those for you. But I definitely recommend the experience if it's your first time in Chicago. The observation deck and the tilt is on the 94th floor of the John Hancock Building. It gives you a 360-degree view of the city, including the shoreline and the skyline, so it's definitely worth a try. And if you have time, you can also buy a ticket to the Cloud Bar, which serves you drink along with the tilt experience. After spending half a day at the Magnificent Mile, doing the Tilt experience, exploring Harry Potter, and going inside the Starbucks Reserve Roastery, we then took an underground pedestrian bridge to the Navy Pier. From the Magnificent Mile, it's almost a 30-minute walk along the shoreline to get to this bridge. Once you cross it, you're on the other side of the city, onto the island that is known as Navy Pier. The Navy Pier is a good place to grab a quick snack and drink. There's also boats that take you along the skyline tour of the city on a cruise, so you can probably book one of those too. We didn't do it today. There's also a lakeshore trail where you can rent a bicycle or a scooter and go along the whole lakeshore to downtown core itself. Our next stop was Millenium Park. We got here using the Lakeshore Trail on our cycles. This is the second most visited tourist spot in Chicago, and of course is home to the famous Bean or Cloud Gate. One of Chicago's most iconic landmarks is the Bean, also known as the Cloud Gate. It's built with 1/68 stainless steel plates which reflect the entire city skyline. This was built in 2004. The Bean is equally attractive at night and still does reflect that city skyline, so I would recommend see this at night too if you can. You may be wondering why I haven't mentioned deep dish pizza up until now. That's because I made a separate video reviewing Lo Multanis and Giordano's and what I think was the best. I'll link the video in the description box below for you to check out. Day 3 started with exploring the architectural wonders around Chicago. This is Marina City, a multi-complex building which hosts residential properties, commercial properties, and offices.
It's a very overcast kind of day. And those are some window cleaners over there. And this is the Royal Sonesta. I think one of the most proper hotels in Chicago.
This building here, by the way, is the site of the old Fort Dearborn. So they basically demolished the fort and created a new building here, but they've got like plaques at the street level telling you that this was the site of the fort. And that's a building with the golden tip. I don't know what that is. We'll probably find out in the architecture tour that we take later today. That's London House. It's a very well-known restaurant with great views of the city.
We walked just west of the Michigan Avenue on the North State Street, which hosts beautiful subway stations, the Torture Museum if you're interested, and the Chicago Theater sign that we explored on day 1 at night. But it's a great photo op if you want to capture the beauty of Chicago and its theater. This is the perfect spot. Just opposite the Chicago sign, there's the Nederlander Theater, which is another iconic landmark in Chicago.
You can see Macy's in the distance. The reason I'm filming this is because I'm a huge Titanic fan, and the owners of Macy's, Ida and Isidore Strauss, they died on the Titanic but left their legacy.
I'm impressed with Chicago subway stations. They're beautiful. Operation started in 1943 and it's called the L, short for elevated. They have 140 stations located throughout the city and nearby suburbs on elevated railways and on the ground.
So we came to Wildberry for breakfast, but the rush is insane. Let's go and find out what the wait time is. It's a highly rated breakfast place though.
We ordered a chocolate chip banana pancake and a fresca omelette, which basically sun-dried tomatoes, olives, mozzarella. With two coffees, the bill was somewhere around $60, I would say, including the tip. A bit on the high side, but worth it.
So we're trying out this top-rated coffee place.
After having breakfast and coffee, we then headed to Grant Park. Along the way, just before or just inside Grant Park, is the Art Institute of Chicago. This is the oldest and the largest art museum in the United States, built in 1879. The ticket is almost $110 if you wish to go inside, and it has one of the largest collections of American Gothic art. This has also been termed Best of the Best Use Attractions of 2024 by TripAdvisor. One of the lesser-known landmarks across from the Art Institute of Chicago is the Route 66 historic sign. This marks the start of the largest highway in the United States, from Chicago, Illinois, all the way to Santa Monica in LA. Our next stop was Grant Park, which is also known as Chicago's front yard. With 319 acres between the downtown Chicago Loop and Lake Michigan, Grant Park offers many different attractions in its large open spaces. The northwestern corner of the park was renovated in 2004 to become Millenium Park. The Abraham Lincoln Monument was built in 1908 to honor the 16th President of the United States, who was also an Illinois resident. The statue is called Seated Lincoln to avoid confusion with Abraham Lincoln the man in Lincoln Park. We ended our day with the 90-minute boat cruise of Chicago's architecture. I would definitely recommend this 100%. It gives you a deep insight into Chicago's architecture and how the buildings that we see today came into effect. You can buy tickets on spot or book them online beforehand. We bought them on spot. And don't forget to bundle up if it's a windy day in the city that day. The cruise takes you all the way east to Chicago Harbor Lock, south to River City, and north to Goose Island. And thank you so much for watching our Chicago City tour. If you liked the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Until next time, take care and goodbye.